Today's lesson is on how to turn mixed numbers into improper fractions. So an improper fraction example of that would be 4 2/3. The 4 would be a whole number and the 2/3 would be a fraction. And when you take a whole number and a fraction together, it's kind of like mixing them up, and that's what's meant by a mixed number. So our job today is to take a mixed number like 4 2/3 and rewrite it as a fraction. In this case, that would be 14/3. Notice, that 14/3, you have a numerator, a denominator, and a fraction bar, and that the 14 is greater than the third. And when you have that, that's called an improper fraction. So in other words, when you have a numerator that is greater than your denominator, that's called an improper fraction. And so there's our improper. So we said that 4 2/3 is a mixed number, and we want to break that down into parts. So let's look at it as a model. So the whole number's 4. We could have 4 circles divided into thirds. Our fraction part of 2/3, we could just show it our 2/3 like that. Now our job today is to turn that 4 2/3 into an improper fraction. Well, how do we do that? Well, let's look at the model first to see if it'll make it a little bit clear, and then I'll show you another way to do it with multiplication and addition. So let's look at each piece of our circles as thirds. And if we take all of those sections and were to add them up, all those 1/3, that would be equal to a total of 14 of them. Now 14 what? Well, all of them are thirds. So that would be 14/3. That's a fraction, and in fact, it's an improper fraction. Why? Because your 14 on top, right, is greater than your bottom. So that's one way that you could show that with a model. Let's look at a second way, pretty similar. Instead of showing the sections as 1/3, if we just kind of divide it and just count them using whole numbers. So same thing. And we come up with also with 14, right? So the 14 would become our numerator, right? That's how many we have. 14 what? Well, in the fraction world, these are thirds. So we would get 14/3. And again, that's an improper fraction. So we've proved with models 2 different ways how 4 2/3, which is our mixed number, is equal to 14/3, which is our improper fraction. But that was using models. How do we do that without models? Well, the first thing we do is multiply, and then we add. So let's multiply first. What do we multiply? Well, we would multiply the denominator, right, of our fraction, which is 3, times our whole number, which is 4. Well, 4 times 3, that equals 12. We take that 12 and we add it. We're going to take the 12 and add it to the numerator, which in this case is 2. So 12 plus 2 would equal 14. Notice when we write 14, you're writing that as the numerator, in other words, the top number of the fraction. The last thing we need is the bottom, which is easy. We simply take our denominator, and there we go, 14/3. Notice that's exactly what we did before with the models. So let's practice a few times on our dot cam. Let's give it a try. So let's see if we can find our dot camera today. So I've got 4 examples. Stick around if you want. 5 3/10 is our mixed number, and we want to rewrite that as an improper fraction. So we said that we're going to multiply our denominator by our whole number, and we're working in this motion of clockwise, right? So 10 times 5, that would equal 50, right? Do you remember what we do next? Are we done? Not yet. We want to take that 50 and add it to our 3, which is our numerator. So 50 plus 3 would be 53. Remember, that's the top of our improper fraction. Are we done? Not yet. We need to write our numerator, which is easy because it's right there. And our answer would be 53/10. That is our improper fraction. Example 2, 2 5/8 is our mixed number, and we would like to write that as an improper fraction. So we're going to take our denominator multiply that by the 2. So is that our answer? No. Right, we're going to add that 16, right, to the 5. 16 plus 5 be 21. So that's our numerator. And then we just take the 8 and rewrite it. And so our improper fraction would be 21 over 8. 2 more examples and we'll be done. 7 and 5/6, we would like to rewrite that as an improper fraction. We first multiply our denominator by the whole number. And that would equal 42. 42, we're then going to add that to our numerator, which is 5, right? That would be 47. And then just take our denominator and rewrite it. And our improper fraction would be 47/6. And our last example, 3 1/4, and we want to rewrite that as an improper fraction. 4 times 3 would be 12. 12 plus 1 would be 13. And then we take our denominator and rewrite it over there. And our improper fraction would be 13/4. Okay, everybody. Hope that was helpful today, and hope to see you on the next one.